Hey, Dave, you talked about working on defense real hard, but also some infield stuff. Can you maybe talk about things you saw from the weekend from the infield and all over on defense?
Yeah, I mean, I watched video of all the plays that weren't made, or a couple of plays that should have been made or could have been made, but I didn't like the way they attacked the ball. I mean, the ball up the middle, slide into the ball, just play through the ball, run through the ball and field it. Stuff like that, backhand play where, somebody gives on the ball instead of going to the ball. That's the way I teach the backhand. And ball gets into left field, but, at a minimum, the ball should stay in the infield. But what we did yesterday, we broke it down a little bit, and we did infield work at the end of practice. When what I told them is seventh, eighth, ninth inning, you're gonna be a little tired. We got to be able to play, and so we did it at the very end. A lot of times you do defense at the beginning before you hit stuff like that, but just broke it down, did some drill work, kind of went back to spring training, so to speak, and then we did ground ball work and throwing, and we probably had our best day of the year fielding the ball for that 25 minutes yesterday. And it's really good to see. Just I tell the guys, you're really good. It's all about technique and your feet. And if you'll just move and trust your ability instead of worrying about things, you'll field the ball. And we did a good job with it.
What did you see from Peyton Lee's outing? And I mean, was that encouraging for what his role would be?
Yeah, I mean, Peyton was really good. And again, I watched it on video, most of it, and I mean, you take away that last inning, he was nails, and he's going through the more experienced guys, so to speak, and really impressive. We've got some good freshman arms in here, and they're going to get to pitch this year, and they deserve it because they proved it against us, and I feel like if you can get our lineup out, then you can get out a lot of really good lineups in the country, and but what I saw was a guy that throws strikes and he mixes and matches and he's got good enough velocity to sneak it by you, but he's got a really good changeup and a good slider. And I like his demeanor on the mound.
You guys seem to dodge a bullet with Helfrich taking one off the forearm. How has he responded to that over the weekend?
Yeah, he seems to be fine. We were talking about it yesterday that the coach didn't even call me and tell me because I'm kind of getting updates and they probably just didn't want to scare me. But Helfrich, it's hard to hurt that guy. He's kind of pretty strong, pretty tough, and but he's good. But yeah, anytime you take a fastball off the forearm, it can be spooky. Obviously, if it gets into the hand area, it gets really, really spooky.
We have an idea what the lineup will look like. Do you think the weekend maybe solidified thoughts that you had about that after Souza?
Yeah, I think so. I thought Souza. I mean, when I put my eyes on him on Friday live, it was some really good at bats and a couple of two strike hits, hitting lefties, righties, and they felt like it continued on. So and a couple other spots. I mean, left field still flip a coin, honestly, and but they're all going to get their time throughout the season. I always tell the guys it's lineup changes from opening day, believe me, and don't take it personal if you don't start or if you don't play too much first weekend. There's a lot of games.
Thanks, man.
Matt Grissom, you got one? All right, Hutch.
Yeah, Dave, that fourth game you're playing down there, how big is that for your freshman pitchers who, are getting to pitch in, a good environment, weather-wise, and then also, a big stage and everything, for their, first taste of college baseball?
Yeah, I think it's a great situation, and when we had that opportunity, we jumped on it, and we'll probably try to do that as much as we can if when we're playing down there. You never know how the weather's going to be. You're already there. You have a chance to play in just a great facility, and then it gives us a little extra time to maybe get ready for the weekend with even the guys that throw Monday. They'd be available for late in the weekend. So I think it's a win-win. I think there's two other games that day now too. After us, I think we're playing it. Well, I think we're moving our game up a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't even looked that far down. We were supposed to play at 2, and last time I talked to Clay Goodwin, our ops guy, he said they maybe want to play at 12. I said that'd be beautiful. So I think that's the deal. But the other teams are doing the same thing.
I had one more about Fisher. He was so good as a freshman before he got hurt. I'm wondering last year, he had I guess the internal brace procedure. How much of coming back from that maybe impacted him last year? And could you tell this fall and, this preseason that he's, fully back from that?
Oh yeah. The first year, kind of feeling his way through, as a freshman, you saw great command. He didn't have the great command last year as much like he did. And so that has to do with the injury and getting it fixed, obviously. And then now the command is back and the velocity's up. Stuff is better. Uh, really more of a 4-pitch mix now and maybe 3-pitch before. And so it's been really good. And I love the way he competes on the mound. He's got a pretty good pickoff move. He holds runners well. He fields his position well. And I feel like he deserves a chance to go out there.
That was Matt Jones. Anything else to add?
Yeah, Dave, I feel like TCU's kind of the team that everyone has circled because they're a top 10 opponent, and there'll probably be a good crowd there for Saturday. But Oklahoma State seems like they're pretty physical, they're pretty talented as well, and they always have at least a good semblance of a lineup there. What have you seen from all three of these teams? Doesn't seem like Texas Tech is maybe quite as talented as years past, but do these teams kind of remind you of some of these other opponents that you faced in Globe Life before?
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State, obviously, that's who our focus is on, and they're very physical. They're outfield, they've got some power there and athletes. And, the starting lefty they're throwing against is, I mean, if it hadn't been for the injury, who knows what he'd been doing. So he's a year or two out, year and a half out from Tommy John or whatever it was. And, we're reading all kinds of great things about him. It's going to be a great matchup, and it's the first game of the year. You never know how it's going to go, nerves or just guys just trying too hard. So it's yeah, it's going to be a great tournament. I don't think that we really circle anybody in anything right now. It's just one day at a time, and try to get better before we open conference against Mississippi State here. And we got about 4 or 5 weeks before we do that. So Oklahoma State, respect Josh and his program. We've had some knockdown dragouts with those guys. I think a couple of years ago we lost in extra innings. Then one year we got after them pretty good. I think they've got after us pretty good. So really, it's just a good way to start the season with a really good opponent.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Okay, guys. We'll see you.